All right, I'm going to briefly talk about the relationship between cause and effect and blame. So, if we identify that we have a problem, it makes logical sense that there is a cause of that problem, right? And in order to resolve the problem, we need to address the cause. We need to resolve the catalyst that is causing the downstream effects, right? So, oftentimes we will say that we are blaming the cause of the problem for the negative downstream effects, right? We're blaming the cause for the effects, and therefore, what we're often led to do is we often blame people for the cause. We say that people are causing the problem, or a group of people, right? Now, to kind of provide an example here, let's look at the economy. We can identify that economic inequality is a problem if it goes too far, right? If people aren't able to purchase the necessities they need to survive, then that's going to cause people to basically seek out those necessities in some other manner, perhaps with crime, right? Perhaps with violence. So, economic inequality is a problem, and there's a cause of that problem, right? And oftentimes, we are led to we believe we need to blame a person or someone or some group of people again for that economic inequality. But what this actually does in reality is it doesn't address the cause of the problem. In fact, what it does is it contributes to the problem. Okay, so when you blame rich people or some group of oligarchs for the wealth inequality, and by extension all of the downstream effects of that wealth inequality, what you're actually going to end up doing is you're going to cause those wealthy people to go into a defensive state. You're going to cause them to go into a fight or flight state. And maybe they don't necessarily fight you physically, but what they might do is they might fight you economically. And the way they do that is by manipulating the markets, right? By manipulating and exploiting laborers. And again, what this does is it feeds back into the original problem that you had. You thought that the problem was the people who were seemingly causing the wealth inequality, but in fact, well, the wealth inequality arose by some other independent means than the person who happens to be rich. But if you blame that rich person, again, you're going to contribute to a vicious cycle where that rich person further exploits labor and further enhances their wealth, right? So the relationship between cause and effect and blame in this instance is that you have to be careful. The point I'm trying to make is you have to be careful about who you're blaming or what you're blaming. You don't want to blame people, because when you blame people, you're attacking a person. You're attacking their ego, and it's going every single time. It's going to cause those people to get defensive. They're going to they're gonna you're basically trapping them in a corner, and you're going to encourage more of the same behaviors that you despise, right? Instead, you have to blame a deeper catalyst. You have to look deeper into this issue and understand that the reason people collect excess is because they are fearful. They are afraid of scarcity of something, whether it's scarcity of food, shelter, love, scarcity of safety. You could say that the rich person has plenty of food, they have plenty of shelter, they might even have plenty of love, but they don't have plenty of safety. Hence the reason that the average billionaire walks around with bodyguards and has a mansion surrounded by, security cameras and whatnot. The point here is that is so long as there is a scarcity of needs, people are going to justify the collection of excess resources. And if you keep pointing the finger at the person collecting excess, you're going to keep encouraging that rich person, that billionaire, to collect more excess. We don't want to fall into these vicious cycles where we are blaming people. We want to blame deeper catalysts. We want to blame the fear of the scarcity of necessities. You can't get rid of the fear. And as I said, billionaires have plenty of food, shelter, water. They have plenty of love, probably. What they don't have plenty of, though, is safety. And until you ease off of these billionaires as the working class, they're going to continue, again, to collect that excess. They're going to continue to use money to insulate themselves from their fear of the working class, who is pointing the finger at them constantly, right? Don't blame people. Blame behaviors, blame ideas, blame concepts, okay? We can't keep, if we remain in these vicious cycles, we're never going to solve our problems. It's easy to make yourself out to be a victim to a billionaire, right? But when you make yourself out to be a victim, with that victimhood, with that victim mentality, automatically comes the desire to blame somebody or to shame somebody else, right? You want to claim that you are a victim to ideas, and you want to attach, or rather, you want to fight those ideas with better ideas, rather than fighting people and attacking their ego. Again, that just leads to more of the same when we attack other people, when we criticize other people. You might think the billionaire is immune to criticism, but they're not. Okay, they're just like you and me. They when you criticize them, they get defensive and they get scared. Okay, they might not admit it, but it's true. If it wasn't true, then why would they be walking around with bodyguards all the time again? So don't be a victim. Find a way to self-empowerment, okay? You need to take control of yourself, and you need to be very careful with where you place blame. Because if you place blame on individuals, whether they're billionaires or whether it's the billionaire blaming the poor person for committing crimes, both of those people are going to go into defensive states that further encourage the vicious cycles that they're in, that further encourage more crime from the poor person, and that further encourage more exploitation of labor from the billionaire. So again, what we have here is a dichotomy between a victim mindset and a self-empowered mindset. If you're always stuck in that victim mindset, you are automatically blaming somebody else for your problems. If you blame ideas for your problems, though, you claim agency over ideas, right? And you claim the ability to change ideas and to adopt better ideas. And that is what gives you agency. That's what gives you the self-empowerment. If you're claiming that you're a victim to somebody else, you surrender your free will. You surrender your agency. And when you surrender your agency, you become a spectator. There's a quote, I don't know the exact, by some French guy, I think. It says, "The world is run by optimists, and pessimists are just spectators." You become an optimist by becoming a self-empowered individual. You become an optimist by believing that you have agency over yourself, by believing you are not a victim, and by exercising agency over ideas and fighting, and using better ideas to challenge the ideas you don't like. So give it a little thought. Thanks for watching.